You ever feel like the universe pressed pause on your life while everyone else is sprinting forward? Yeah, you're not alone, but what if I told you waiting isn't a punishment, it's a preparation? Pause right here. Don't scroll, not yet, because this right here is not just another motivational speech. It's that internal shift you've been craving. You think you've been stuck. You haven't. You've been planted. And there's a difference. See, we live in a culture that glorifies the rush, fast success, fast love, fast healing. But the most sacred transformations, they happen in silence, in stillness, in waiting. Patience isn't weakness, it's a power move. It's the inner knowing that something greater is forming even when nothing outside looks like it. I've had doors slammed in my face, opportunities delayed. I've sat alone wondering, why not now? And the answer whispered back every time was, because now is when you're becoming. You know, we confuse stillness with failure, like if we're not moving, chasing, posting wins, then we must be losing. But that's not true. Think about a seed. When it's planted in the soil, it disappears. You don't see it. Days go by, sometimes weeks, and there's no sign of progress. Nothing green, nothing blooming. Just dirt, but under all that, it's working quietly, powerfully, roots are forming, foundations are being laid. That's what stillness really is. It's the season of becoming before the becoming shows. We're so wired to expect instant everything. If it's not visible, if it's not loud, it must not be happening. But the truth is, the most important growth always starts in the dark. Nobody sees it, nobody claps for it, but that's where the real stuff gets built. Strength, vision, clarity, and you know what else? Patience. Real patience is not just waiting. It's trusting while waiting. It's saying, even if I can't show results today, I still know I'm moving. And I get it, that's hard. We want to show people we're doing something. We want that update, that post, that proof. But this is where the game changes. When you can sit in that space with no applause, no confirmation, and still believe something amazing is on the way. That's not weakness, that's power. Most people give up not because they failed, but because they didn't see growth fast enough. They walked away during the root stage. But let me tell you, when you give yourself permission to grow slow, to develop unseen, that's when you come out unshakable. That's when the bloom doesn't just look good, it lasts. Because anything that's rushed is at risk of being shallow. But when it's built with patience, with depth, with intention, that can weather storms. That kind of growth doesn't crumble when life gets heavy. So if you're in a quiet season, one where you feel like nothing's moving, remember this. Roots don't make noise. Healing doesn't make noise. Becoming doesn't make noise. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because it's not public doesn't mean it's not powerful. You're still growing, you're still preparing, you're still building something real, and the world might not see it yet, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't stop believing in what's happening below the surface. And here's the part we don't like to talk about: the delay, the waiting room of life. When you've done the work, said the prayers, kept showing up, and still nothing's moving. You look around and it feels like everyone else is catching their moment, their big break, their glow up, and you're still stuck on the hold music of your own journey. It's frustrating. It's confusing, but let me say this loud. Just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. Sometimes the no isn't really a no. It's just a not yet. And that's not a rejection, it's a redirection. Life is funny like that. It knows how to protect you from things that look good but aren't right. It knows how to hold back what you want in the moment so you don't miss what you actually need in the long run. That job you didn't get, that relationship that didn't work out, that door that wouldn't open, what if all that was life saying, wait, I've got something better? We don't always understand it while we're in it. In fact, most of the time the delay feels personal, like something's wrong with us, like we missed the timing, like maybe we weren't enough, but that's a lie. The truth is, every delay carries a lesson. Every pause is filled with purpose, and sometimes the reason you haven't gotten there yet is because the you who's meant to walk into that blessing is still being built. You're still becoming the version of yourself who's ready to hold the weight of that dream. See, it's easy to want the outcome, but what about the strength to sustain it? Anybody can start a race, but who's built to finish it? Delay gives you that power. It stretches your patience, your character, your capacity. It teaches you how to keep showing up even when the applause goes silent. That's the kind of preparation success doesn't post about. That's the work behind the scenes. So next time you feel like something's taking too long, like life skipped over you, pause. Breathe and remember that delays aren't dead ends, they're setups. They're teaching you trust. They're making sure you don't step into something half ready. They're aligning you with timing that won't miss. Because when it's right, truly right, you won't have to force it. You'll just flow into it. But let's talk about speed for a second, because everyone wants it fast. Fast success, fast healing, fast answers. We think the faster it happens, the better. But here's the truth most people won't say out loud: fast isn't always fulfilling. Just because something comes quickly doesn't mean it's going to satisfy you deeply. In fact, the stuff that shows up overnight often disappears just as fast. You ever rush into something and later think, that wasn't it? We've all done it. Taken shortcuts, jumped at the first opportunity, forced things just to feel like we're moving. But speed without foundation is like building a house on sand. It might look good for a minute, but one storm and it's gone. When you chase things too fast, you miss the parts that actually matter: the growth, the learning, the becoming. You get there, but you're not ready there. There's a pressure today to be everything all at once, to achieve young, to build quick, to glow up instantly. But real success, the kind that lasts, doesn't come microwave style. It takes time, it takes depth, and most of all, it takes patience with yourself. We don't talk enough about what it means to grow into something instead of just getting it. Because here's the thing, when you grow into your blessings, you don't just enjoy them, you keep them. You carry them with confidence. Rushing robs you of the richness. It skips over the parts that give your story power. It makes you believe that if it's not happening right now, then it's never going to happen. But that's not how life works. The best things, they take time. Just like slow cooked meals hit different than fast food, the same goes for your dreams. The effort, the waiting, the working, it all adds flavor. It builds appreciation, it creates meaning, and when you stop comparing your pace to other people's paths, something shifts. You begin to trust that what's for you won't require you to race or rush. You start to understand that taking your time doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Because you're not just chasing moments anymore, you're building something meaningful, something real, something that won't fade when the hype does, so don't fall for the lie that faster is better. Sometimes the slower road leads to the richest reward. Not because it's easy, but because you earned every step of it. Now here's where it gets real: trusting what you can't see. That's the hardest part, isn't it? When nothing outside of you looks like it's working. When people ask how it's going and you don't even know what to say anymore. When you're doing everything right and still feel stuck in the unknown. But this is where the real strength shows up. It's easy to have faith when things are clear, when doors open and signs show up. But trusting in the dark, that's next level, that's powerful. You don't need a sign every day to know something is happening. Growth isn't always visible. Change doesn't always come with a big announcement. Most of the time, it's quiet, it's internal, it's invisible, but it's real. Just because your eyes can't see it doesn't mean your life isn't shifting. That dream, that goal, that version of you you're reaching for, it's being built behind the scenes. Sometimes you have to walk forward with zero proof, no blueprint, no map, just your belief. That's what trusting the process really means. It means moving with confidence even when the outcome hasn't arrived. It means not letting the silence shake your spirit. And yeah, some days you'll feel crazy for believing in something you can't explain. But that's okay, because what you're doing is building trust not just in life, but in yourself. You're learning how to be steady without always having certainty, and that's a superpower. You stop needing everything to make sense right now. You stop forcing answers. Instead, you start allowing life to unfold the way it's meant to. That doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you just wait around. It means you keep showing up, doing your part, while letting go of needing to see every step. It's in those unseen moments, the quiet nights, the solo struggles, the deep doubts that the most powerful parts of you are formed. You're not just chasing a result. You're building the kind of trust that can't be shaken by outside noise. That kind of trust becomes your anchor, even if nobody claps, even if nobody gets it, even if the results don't show up today. You keep believing in the version of your life that's bigger than what's in front of you right now. Because trusting what you can't see isn't just brave, it's the very thing that brings it to life. That space in between where you are and where you want to be, that's the space nobody really talks about. It's not the beginning, it's not the finish line, it's just the middle. And let's be honest, the middle can feel messy, it's confusing, it's quiet, it's full of questions and not many answers, but that in-between space. That's where the real transformation happens. That's where you become who you're meant to be. We're always in a rush to get to the next goal, the next breakthrough, the next version of life that finally feels like made it. But what if the magic isn't just in the destination? What if the most important part is happening right now, in the middle of the stretch, when nothing is guaranteed and everything feels uncertain? This part of the journey is sacred. It builds you in ways nothing else can. You learn how to be patient. You learn how to keep going even when you're not sure how far you are from the finish. You learn how to trust yourself when everything around you feels unsure. That kind of growth. You can't fake that. You can't rush it either. It's the kind that sticks with you. It's what makes the victory matter. It's easy to feel lost in the in-between, like maybe you missed your moment or you took the wrong path. But you didn't. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Every step you're taking is shaping you. Every delay, every quiet season, every closed door, it's all part of the process that's preparing you for something more. And here's what most people forget: the in-between is where your strength gets tested. It's where your faith gets stretched. It's where you find out who you really are when nothing is handed to you. You stop depending on perfect conditions and you start depending on your own resilience. That's powerful. This part of the journey is where your mindset matters most, because it's tempting to give up, to settle, to say maybe it's not for me. But if you can learn to hold your head up in the in-between, if you can stay committed even when it's hard, you're building something that can't be shaken when the success finally shows up. So while you wait, while you grow, while you figure things out, don't rush through it. Don't wish it away. You're not stuck. You're not behind, you're in progress, and that progress is building something beautiful. One of the most powerful things you can do, especially when life feels uncertain, is to just be here. Fully present in this moment, but that's not easy, right? We're always thinking ahead, worrying about tomorrow, replaying yesterday, wondering when things will finally fall into place. It's like we're living everywhere except where we actually are. But real peace, real clarity, it's found in the now, not the next, not the past, right here. See, there's something sacred about learning how to stay grounded in your current season, even if it's not perfect, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it feels like it's not where you want to be forever. Because when you're constantly chasing the next thing, you miss the value of what's happening right in front of you. You miss the small wins, the quiet lessons, the people you have, the strength you're building, the growth that's happening, even if it's not obvious yet. Being fully present doesn't mean you give up on your goals. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming big. It just means you stop waiting to feel alive. You stop telling yourself, "I'll be happy when I get there." No. You start choosing to find something meaningful right here, even in the messy, unfinished, in-between chapters. Because this part of your story matters too, not just the highlight reels, not just the moments that go viral, but this exact moment, where you're still figuring it out, still showing up, still holding on. The truth is, this is where life actually happens. Not in the future you're planning, not in the past you can't change. It happens in the ordinary, the simple, the quiet. And when you can show up for those moments, when you can breathe through them instead of rush through them, you unlock a kind of power that's not based on external things. It's a peace that doesn't need proof. A confidence that doesn't need a crowd. So show up for today. Show up for the version of you that's learning, growing, evolving. Don't wait for the perfect job, the dream house, the relationship, the title, the money, whatever it is. Because if you can't be present with what you have now, even when you get all those things, you'll still feel like something's missing. Right now, you have something worth showing up for, even if it's small. Even if it's simple, don't overlook it. Don't brush past it. This season is part of the journey too, and it's shaping the strength you'll carry into every season that comes next, if you're still listening. That's not by accident. You were meant to hear this right now, and when life makes you wait again, and it will, I want you to remember this. You're not being punished, you're being prepared, and baby, that kind of preparation, it creates something unstoppable.